Welcome back to the Wealthy Cowboy Show. The hardest person to lead is you. I'm going to give y'all some tips of how I do it. And I just want to preface this of I think personally that is true. That the hardest person to lead is yourself, and you have to be able to lead yourself before you can lead somebody else. And most of us probably are in a leadership role of some sort. You know, you're not the president, you're not the mayor, you're not the governor or whatever, but you probably, if you're a man, you're supposed to be the leader of your household. At work, you might have somebody that works underneath you. If you have kids, you probably have you got to lead your kid. If you got a little brother, little sister, you have to lead them. You know, most people have some type of leadership role, and leadership is something that kind of goes along with everything with a successful life. Extreme Ownership is a great book to read on it. Jocko and Leif Babin, and they have a lot of content out about it. It's talked about in the Bible, but I think nowadays it's kind of, we don't have a lot of great leaders anymore, or it's not as popular. It's not as talked about as much in the mainstream, I guess. What I listen to, of course, it's talked about a lot. And I want to talk about a little bit about what I do. So it kind of, all this stuff kind of came to me at once. I was always a passive, I still kind of am, I guess, a guy, went along, go with the flow. I'm not going to step up. I'm not going to say anything, and just, go along, get along, even if, something might be wrong, or I knew something was out of place or something like that. I didn't want to say anything. And I don't know what it was. At some point in my life, not that long ago, I just was like, I need to step up. And it was probably around the time that family came along. But and since then I've kind of studied it, listened to a bunch of people that talk about it, been around a lot of people, and saw them lead by example. And you have to respect those guys that do, because I like to watch and see what those people do. I don't care what they say. I want to see what they do. How do they lead their lives? How do they lead their family? How do they lead their people under them at work, at their business, at their job? And to really be a good leader for somebody else, you have to be able to lead yourself. You have to be able to control what you're doing. If you say you're going to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, your alarm goes off and you press snooze 25 times and sleep in, you start the day off with a loss. If you say you're going to get up and go to the gym and you don't go because you snoozed and slept in, that's another loss. And you're just stacking losses up, and you're breaking your promise to yourself, your word to yourself. And then that just leads to a whole day, for me anyway, that leads to a whole day of broken promises. And then at the end of the day, you're like, man, there's a bunch of stuff I needed to do today and I didn't get it done. And it all started at the start of the day. And it's really just about holding yourself accountable. It's like, don't say that stuff if you're not going to follow through with it. If you're not going to get up at that certain time, if you're not going to go to the gym, if you're not going to stick to a diet, if you're not going to do that work that you said you're going to get done, don't say it. Because if you break that promise, if you break that word to yourself, like, what are you going to do to other people? And then how are you going to hold them accountable? You tell somebody underneath you to go do something, and they can tell you, well, you didn't do it. Why are you telling me to do it? That's how I feel. If somebody's in a leadership role over me and I see them breaking promises and not being a good leader, why am I going to listen to them? Why can they be able to tell me to go do something that they wouldn't do? But when you see those guys that, and it's really that's really a leader. You see those guys or that person, they tell you to do something and you say no or whatever. And then it's like, all right, fine, I'm going to do it. I'm not scared. And they do it. They make you look like a jackass. And then you got to respect that person. And we really need more leaders. Holding yourself accountable. Just like I said, for me, it all starts, in the morning, getting up at that time that you say you're going to get up. I don't care if you're going to work out, if you're going to read, if you're not going to do any of that. You're just going to get up, get dressed, go to work. But getting up, when you say you're going to get up, doing the things you say you're going to do, don't commit to those things, even with yourself. Don't tell your spouse. Don't tell your kids. Don't tell your coworkers that you're going to get up, start this new thing, and then don't do it. Don't tell yourself that either, because you start going down the wrong road. Taking emotion out of things. Jocko talks about this in Extreme Ownership of just like being able to step back out of the situation and evaluate things. In not getting emotional and like going off the handle, controlling what comes out of your mouth. That's a big thing. Controlling your emotions. Like you're going to go cuss somebody out or do something like that because they screwed up. Who's going to really look like the jackass there? It's you, because you threw a fit. So you really have to control that to be a leader. And all that does, when you can control yourself like that, it's just going to make people respect you. It's not going to make them. It's going to give them the choice to respect you, but you're probably going to gain respect from the people underneath you. And being able to control your life. A big thing that helped me was, and not only for the health benefits of it, but fasting and following a diet. It just shows, it gives your mind that that you're in control. You're in control of your body. You're in control of what goes in your mouth, what comes out of your mouth. You're in control. You're not living off emotion, nothing like that. You can take that and you can control it. Being able to go 3 days without food and only water and coffee, that's a big feat. Going 2 days, going 1 day, whatever it is, you can start small and go longer. But it shows you can control what you put in your mouth. You're not just emotionally, I feel like doing this at this time. I don't know. I'm not gonna go do that, anymore or whatever. It shows that you can stick to something, and it's all about building those little wins up. And it just gets your mind. It gives you that confidence to show that you can accomplish something. And that inner integrity, doing what you said you're going to do, that's just going to bleed into being able to lead others. Once you can lead yourself, once you show that you can control yourself and you have that confidence, you can do it. It gives you the confidence to tell somebody else, you can do it too. You can lead them. You can lead them down the right direction. So y'all, if you're in a leadership role, which you probably are of some capacity, just take that into account. It all starts with leading ourselves, and you got to think about it. You got to be mindful of it, to lead yourself first and then lead others. So y'all check out Extreme Ownership. It's a good leadership book. There's some other good stuff out there. I'll see y'all next time.